This is Biotecnika, and you're listening to India's first life science podcast, The Voice of Biotecnika.
Robots to soon replace medical surgeons. Oh, it sounds great. And yes, this is gonna be our future. This is Priyanjana Ghosh, and welcome back to the dynamic session of Voice of Biotecnika. And hey friends, you guessed it right. So today we are going to explore about this amazing fact. We are going to know about the facts regarding robots replacing medical surgeons in different fields of medical sciences. Okay? So just think friends, does the possibility of a robot standing by the side of your hospital bed, his gold metal fingers operating on your heart, fill you with dread or with hope? What about the idea of sitting down on the psychologist's couch with data to talk through your feelings? It may sound very, very weird, but there are those within the medical profession who say that the role of a doctor or a surgeon could one day be close to redundant, overtaken by forms of artificial intelligence. And that can definitely diagnose and treat illness and injury better than any human medical professional could. So this new reality could be just a decade or two away. So recently, according to an AI scientist who belonged to University of New South Wales, Professor Toby Walsh, he stated that I don't think that there's going to be a shortage of doctors anytime soon, as patients will always seek out other humans to interpret information or to deliver bad news. But the balance of skills will change in a significant way. So the use of robotics in medical health isn't new. You must be knowing that. A lot of work is going on over this artificial intelligence in this field, right? So robots already lend a hand in spinal surgery. It's very interesting. With models such as Renesas, and allowing surgeons to replace screws in spines with about 99% of accuracy. Wow, it's great. The famous Da Vinci surgical system, where surgeons' hand motions are translated into smaller, more precise robotic movements, is now used across a wide range of procedures, from prostate cancer treatment to performing heart valve surgery. Just think, just imagine. In US, a robot called as Watson assists in diagnosis and produces management plans for oncology patients by synthesizing information from millions of reports, patient records, clinical trials and journals. Meanwhile, another one, it's known as Wobot. The world's first robotic therapist has more than 2 million conversations a week. Although surgeons at the Children's National Medical Center in Washington have recently developed a surgical robot, and it's called as STAR. Really, they are stars. So which can suture soft tissues. So the feedback is that we will still have a long way to go before we build enough dexterity and sensitivity in robots to perform the kind of work we are all talking about. So at this point, there's almost always a highly skilled surgeon at the other end controlling what's being done. So the tension of the dearth of enough medical surgeons will soon be replaced with this amazing invention of artificial intelligence. Next, so when we are dealing with this AI and all, we are always seeing the good perspective of artificial intelligence. Definitely we have to keep one thing in our mind also. What about its risks and doubts? So despite the allure of speedy healthcare, doubts about AI will still remain, right? So do we really want to put our lives in the hands of something that's only one small glitch away from failure? And can AI deal with the differences in how diseases are diagnosed and treated around the world? So if we look back at the Industrial Revolution, we endured that 50 years of pain before we got adequate systems in place to deal with the new pace of life. Now we can't imagine the world any other way. So we can now suspect that in 100 years, we will look back at 2018 and marvel at how primitive we were. This is true. I agree completely with this thing. So the positives almost certainly outweigh the negatives of AI, right? So whenever we are starting with any kind of a new venture, we should always take a positive attitude. We should never think of its negative aspects, and then only we can excel out, no? So obviously AI is great. We have the ability to have artificial limbs attached, and we can implant some devices to even help people walk again. So these are some of the fantastic inventions. But at what point do we accept that from the moment we each arrive on this planet, we are destined to die? Exactly. So humans are good at skirting the issue, but when all is said and done, it's the one truth that can't be ignored. So definitely, we all know that it's inevitable, death of a man. Once we are here on this earth, it's inevitable. But to keep ourselves in pace with this Mother Earth, these inventions are very, very necessary, right? Now I'm going to tell you about some robots which have excelled in healthcare field. So already I told you about Watson. So Watson was created by IBM to aid diagnosis and management plans for cancer patients, basically. The Icon Group in Australia announced a planned deal with IBM in the year June 2017. Second one is Da Vinci. This also I had already mentioned earlier. Used for a variety of surgical procedures in which surgeons' hand movements are robotically recreated. Okay, and it's available in Australia and around the world. Third one is Paro. Okay, this cute robotic seal has been used for 15 years in hospitals and aged care homes worldwide to reduce stress and some improving socialization effects. Okay. Next one is Star A. So Star A is basically a surgical robot that can independently search a soft tissue. I was talking about Star also previously, no? So with surgeon supervision, definitely. And it's only used in Children's National Medical Center in Washington, for now only. Wobot, this chatbot app checks in daily to help users monitor their mental health. And this Wobot app is free to download from the App Store. Okay, this was interesting info for you all. Okay, that is free downloading. Okay. So now I will be talking about some current robotic surgical systems. Okay. So nowadays, many robots and robo enhancements are being researched and developed. So at Eberhard Karl's University section for minimally invasive surgery have developed a master-slave manipulator system, and they called it as Artemis, A-R-T-E-M-I-S, Artemis. So this system consists of 2 robotic arms. Okay, so this name is very familiar nowadays. I guess you have heard of this name as bionic arms. Okay, so no, they are artificial arms. So this system consists of 2 robotic arms that are controlled by the surgeon basically at a control console, and at the MyTech or MITech laboratory of Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna in Italy, they have developed a prototype miniature robotic system for computer-enhanced colonoscopy. Okay? So this system provides the same functions as conventional colonoscopy systems, but it does not, or it does so with an inchworm-like locomotion using vacuum suction. Okay. Now, so we were talking about their applications, we were talking about, or we got to know about different things till now. So we have to discover, or we have to nurture the aspect of the advantages and disadvantages of this surgeries, right? So when we come across the advantages of these systems are many, because they overcome many of the obstacles of laparoscopic surgery. They increase dexterity, restore proper hand-eye coordination and an ergonomic position, and improve visualization. And in addition to these systems make surgeries that were technically difficult or unfeasible previously. But with this now it's definitely possible to perform. Now these robotic systems enhance dexterity in several ways. Instruments with increased degrees of freedom definitely or greatly enhance the surgeon's ability to manipulate instruments and obviously the tissues also. So these systems are designed so that the surgeon's tremor can be compensated on the end effector motion, right? Through appropriate hardware and software filters. And in addition, these systems can also scale movements so that large movements of the control grips can be transformed into some micro motions inside the patient, right? So another important advantage is the restoration of proper hand-eye, which I already said. And that is why these robotic systems are eliminating the fulcrum effect, making the instrument manipulation more intuitive. So with the surgeon sitting at a remote, ergonomically designed workstation, the current systems also can eliminate the need to twist and turn in awkward positions to move the instruments and visualize the monitor, right? So these were the different advantages we can see, okay, that can be given by this world of artificial intelligence to us. But definitely, when, as I was talking about its negative aspects, yes, I told you that whenever we are starting with a new venture, we have to keep a positive attitude towards it. But definitely when we are appointing this for a very vital cause, which is medical science, okay, we are replacing robots for the medical surgeons, we have to think about its disadvantages too, because accordingly we can plan out and we can prepare for some secondary options, no? So there are several disadvantages to these systems, okay? So first of all is robotic surgery is a new technology, first of all, no? And its uses and efficacy have not yet been well established. So to date, mostly studies of feasibility have been conducted and almost no long-term follow-up studies have been performed, okay? So many procedures will also have to be redesigned to optimize the use of robotic arms and increase its efficiency. However, time will most likely remedy these disadvantages, but another disadvantage of these systems is the most important issue is the cost. We have to agree that yes, it is an amazing science. It is replacing the dearth of enough surgeons in this field, but we have to think about the cost. So we cannot implement artificial intelligence only for a one sect of people, right? So when we are implementing certain intelligence in medical field, we have to think about all sects of people, okay? So it should not be that only this kind of application can be privileged or enjoyed by a common or a particular status of people, right? So we have to make it cost effective or beneficial for all sorts of people, right? So that should be our motto. And with a price tag of $1 million, their cost is nearly prohibitive. So whether the price of these systems will fall or rise is a matter of conjecture. Okay? So some believe that with the improvements in technology and as more experience is gained with robotic systems, the price will fall. Okay, so this can be expected. So because this is very new now, no? When we are launching this, it's very new. So with time, when its popularity will be gained, definitely it can be expected that the price of the cost will fall down. See, others believe that improvements in technologies such as haptics, increased processor speeds, and more complex and capable software will increase the cost of the systems. Also, at issue is the problem of upgrading systems. Like, how much will hospitals and healthcare organizations have to spend on upgrades, and how often they have to do it, right? Because it's a machine after all. So we have to think before its maintenance, right? They are not humans. Okay, so we have to take care of them. No? So in case many believe that to justify the purchase of these systems, they must gain widespread multidisciplinary use. So one of the potential disadvantages identified is a lack of compatible instruments and equipments. Lack of certain instruments increases reliance on table-side assistance to perform the art of surgery, okay? And this, however, is a transient disadvantage because I just tell you that new technologies have and will develop to address these shortcomings. So most of the disadvantages identified will be remedied with time and improvements in technology. Yeah. So only time will tell if the use of these systems justifies their cost. No, it's very true. Everyone will agree with me because whenever we are launching anything, that has to be accepted by the people also. That has to be accepted by the patients on whom we are treating. No? If they are not accepting, so we cannot do that. No? So everything is related again to a one common factor, which is cost. So that we have to stress upon. So if the cost of these systems remains high and they do not reduce the cost of routine procedures, it is unlikely that there will be a robo in every operating room, and thus unlikely that they will be used for routine surgeries. So we have already come up to the end of the session. So definitely we will be ending our session with a future aspect. No? So what can be the future of this robotic surgery? So in today's competitive healthcare market, many organizations are interested in making themselves cutting-edge institutions with the most advanced technological equipment and the very newest treatment and testing modalities. So doing so allows them to capture more of the healthcare market. So acquiring a surgical robo is in essence the entry fee into marketing an institution's surgical specialties as the most advanced, right? So it is not uncommon, for example, to see a photo of a surgical robo on the cover of a hospital's marketing brochure, right? And yet see no word mentioning robotic surgery inside. So robotic surgery is in its infancy now, right? So many obstacles and disadvantages will be resolved in time. And no doubt, many other questions will arise. So many questions have yet to be asked. Questions such as malpractice liability, credentialing, training requirements, interstate licensing for telesurgeons, to name just a few. Okay. So yes, that's it. That's it for today. So I'll definitely leave with an open question for you all. So what do you think? Can really AI surpass humans in medical science? Just share your views with us. And stay tuned to Biotecnika podcast for further interesting sessions. Thank you. Have a good day.
Should you have any questions, please comment below. Do not forget to subscribe to Biotechnika's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with latest in BT sector.